Namaskaram. This is Dr. Narendra from LiveRight Ayurveda Clinic, Gindi. We have been creating content for Ayurveda doctors, which are being presented by Ayurveda doctors and from other professionals from other disciplines. This is one of those talks where a great person who's been in different managerial roles and in sales roles all over India and all over the globe is going to talk about rituals today. Welcome, Mr. Dhayanand, for the talk today.
Thank you, Doctor. Thanks for having me here and absolutely delighted to be here.
Good morning, Mr. Dhayanand. We are very happy to have you here at LiveRight Ayurveda Clinic today. For people who are watching this podcast for the first time, Mr. Dhayanand is a management consultant and an executive coach. He has coached many people till date. He has held many managerial roles. We are very happy to have him here today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. Absolutely delighted to be here. And thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Dayanandji, I have known you for some years now. But for the viewers, I would like you to introduce yourself a little bit.
Thanks. As you know, I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. So that's my current avatar. I've been doing this for the last couple of years. Before this, I spent about 28 years in the consumer goods industry, what you call fast-moving consumer goods. Worked for Unilever, GlaxoSmithKline, most recently Reckitt, Benckiser. Typical sales, marketing background. Spent substantial time in sales, about 16 years, 2 years in marketing. My last 10 years has been as managing director of 3 different global businesses of Reckitt and GlaxoSmithKline.
Wow.
So I had the amazing opportunity to work across cultures, South America, Africa, Asia. But home has always been India. So I relocated 2 years back and at peace with myself and the rest of the world right now.
Wonderful. So, how were you able to manage this, traveling from, as you said, from country to country, from culture to culture? How were you able to take that? Were you able to keep your daily routine with that? Did it change with, or did you evolve with time, or was it very rock solid? Wherever you go, your routine was the same?
Interestingly, till 20 years of age, I never set foot out of Chennai at all.
Mm-hmm.
After 20 years of age, I never came back or stayed in one place for more than 2 years. So 2 reasons I would say. One is just acknowledging, accepting that change will come. So the easier I take it in, the happier I'm going to be. One. The second reason why I was able to do the adjustment is my wife and 2 kids, they just seamlessly adapted themselves. So that gave me comfort. So wherever we went as a family. But these 2 reasons. But there were, as rightly said, routines, maybe rituals, practices that we had helped us settle down faster.
That is where I was coming to. Incidentally, today is my daughter's birthday.
Oh, so wonderful. Happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
Pass on my wishes.
Sure. Very happy that we are doing this podcast today, because on her birthday, we have this small ritual. We wake up at least a half an hour, 1 hour earlier than what we usually do. She usually chooses some complicated dress so that her mother can help her do all that, get ready and all that. So she usually takes half an hour, 45 minutes extra.
Wow.
And getting that gift from her grandfather, from her mother, from me in the morning, this becomes kind of a ritual every year. This time she is wearing a Gujarati attire, a perfect Gujarati attire. So I wanted to first to understand what rituals are. What do you think rituals are? Why is it so important to have rituals?
This is an interesting thing. Let's say 20 years later, you ask her what she remembers of her childhood. Most likely she might mention this, because this stands out as a very strong memory. Now rituals, consciously or unconsciously, I'm sure all of us have rituals. For example, invariably if you see the dictionary, it defines rituals as a set of things that you do in a certain sequence whenever it's done. It's always. So there is a certain repetitiveness to it. So if I summarize it, I'll give you an example. Generally, you will find rituals in maybe religion, in politics, in business, in communities. One, there is a repetitiveness to it. It's just a certain set of steps. Two, you know when it will come, right? For example, if it's a birthday ritual,
Yeah.
she'll know the next one is going to be 1 year later.
Exactly.
There is a predictability. Three, there is always a single-mindedness to it. For in her case, it's me, this day, and this moment I'm going to enjoy this birthday of mine. So there is no other things entering, just single-mindedness to it. The other couple of things that comes into it is there is most likely a value attached to a ritual.
So a ritual need not be only a personal thing. Can it be found in work? Can it be found in personal life? At home?
Absolutely. So wherever there are human beings, I don't know, maybe other living things like animals could have, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Not observed. So wherever there are human beings, there would be rituals most likely. So if it's at home or at work, you can expect. So work or at home. Interestingly, individually, for myself or collectively, as a group, as a community, as a team, possible.
Good. When you said animals might have rituals, I remember one of my friends, we used to walk home after school. When we walked home, when he reached his house, his dog used to wait for him in the street end. And it used to walk with him to the house.
That's a brilliant example of a ritual. Exactly.
So, yeah, I think even animals have that.
So if you see a single-mindedness, predictability, repeatability, the same set of steps, and one might wonder, look, what is that value that an animal might have in the ritual? It could be, here is my, for the animal, the owner, if I can call that way, is a mate, lifelong mate.
Yeah.
So this that single moment, I'm with this person, it's being together, it's belongingness. So that could be the value. But that's an interesting observation.
So, what would be the difference between a habit and a ritual?
This is a good one because a lot of times it's a very fine line between what's a ritual and what's a habit. So, to the best of my knowledge, let me try and split this open. In my understanding, most likely habits, there is a certain automatic nature about a habit. Let's take brushing, right? I get up in the morning, I just brush. It's automatic. I don't think. I don't see the color of the toothpaste. I don't see if it's. Of course, I check if it's my toothbrush. Okay. So there is a automatic nature to it. Two, it's about being practical.
Yeah.
I need to get the job done. Three, it's about efficiency. How quickly can I get this done? I want to go to my morning coffee, whatever. So in habit, I see it's about efficiency. It's about a certain automatic nature, and it's about being practical. Now, if you switch to ritual, most likely there is a deliberateness to it. You take the example of your daughter's birthday. Dressing. On any normal day, she will switch on the her uniform in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
But today, it could be 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So there is a deliberate nature to that dressing. The second thing is about, there's something about symbolic. Generally, ritual very closely attached to symbolism. So for her, it's, I need to be the best today, right? There's a symbol of celebration in this. And lastly, there's a lot of emotion involved in, less in possibly habits and more in terms of rituals. You take her, do you remember how you dressed up last Tuesday when you were going to school? She won't
say no.
6 months later, you ask her, do you remember on your birthday how you dressed up? She will vividly describe. It's because there's a lot of emotion involved.
Yeah.
So, emotion, deliberateness, and symbolism would be in in rituals.
To me, you mentioned coffee in between after brushing.
Yeah.
So I think to me, brushing is a habit, while coffee is a ritual.
Absolutely.
Without my coffee.
That's a very valid point because imagine what will coffee be if it's just a habit. So you don't smell the aroma, you don't taste the the flavor,
Yeah.
you don't feel the warmth, you don't just sip and close your eyes and just drown yourself in the
Wow.
taste. So yeah, I agree. It's surely a ritual. At least for me, it's a ritual.
It is a ritual. You need to get that mug of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
It just gets you going. It's not about only the caffeine. What people, it's about the feeling, right? It's about the getting the coffee
Yeah.
and getting the coffee right, the right amount of decoction, the right amount of milk and sugar, or else it doesn't really feel
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about having rituals in different places. Why do you think rituals and emotions, because you said rituals will have emotions, so why do you think rituals will play a role in workplace? Isn't at workplace, don't you know what you're supposed to do? You keep doing the same thing.
So interestingly, you can have rituals for various reasons. Okay, so for example, I can have a ritual. The outcome is I want connection. The pet dog and the man or woman. There, the outcome is connection in the ritual. Now, there could be a reason where a ritual is kept to reinforce. A lot of festivals, a lot of religious ceremonies are about reinforcing commitment,
Yeah.
belief. So rituals can be to reinforce. Rituals could be to motivate. Have you seen most sports team? They'll either have, they'll have some, things to do with their hand. They'll have a high five. They huddle together. That's a ritual which brings them together and motivates them. So multiple reasons. So whatever an organization wishes to inculcate, that's why they will have a ritual.
So can you give me a good example that you have implemented in organizational rituals that has worked well?
Yeah. So I'll go back to a few years, maybe last 5 years. I was posted in Africa. It's a very different culture. Again, it's a wonderful culture, sometimes very similar to what we have in India. Now, when I went there, the team was new. My marketing director, sales director, finance director, head of operations, head of HR, they were from different countries. Now, I was going in new. So I need to get a team together because they were trying to understand each other. Some of them knew each other for 1-2 years, others just for maybe a few days. So one of the things we used to do was two things. One, every quarter I used to have what's called an all-hands meeting. So I was new to the business. There were a lot of new members in the team. So once a quarter, I assemble the entire team and I take them through what has the company done in this last quarter. What did we want to achieve? What did we do? Where did we fail or didn't do all that good? What are our successes? What is to be celebrated? Now there, the ritual, we used to call it as an all-hands meeting. But the essence behind is transparency, performance, and togetherness. That's what I wanted to drive. So if every person in the team knows where the company is headed, celebrates, or feels a little bad, like I've not done all that well, the whole team aligns. So that was one ritual, an all-hands meeting. The second thing was I used to take my leadership team, which are about the 8-9 people who reported to me, one day outside the company wherein all we do is anything but not work.
Oh.
So for example, one of the times...
That's a working day, it's not a weekend.
Yeah, it's a working day.
Oh.
But we get out, for example, one of the days we hired a kitchen. We brought in a celebrity chef and he taught us how to cook some dishes we have never cooked.
Okay.
Now, some of us could be good cooks, but it was not about cooking. It's about doing something fun, not work, but the team together.
Okay.
So you kind of bond. So that was another ritual people look forward to.
So, just to understand, you said many leadership role people will be there.
Yeah,
I'm sure there will be people who cook well and some people who won't.
Yeah.
What happens to these leadership people who cook badly before their subordinates, or if I can call that, people work with them or under them?
There is this dish called creme brulee.
Okay.
Right? It's a lovely dish to taste, but I can't cook. So I was absolutely a disaster in cooking that.
Okay.
But the very fact that you're doing it together, right? Suddenly you let one of your team members teach me how to cook it better, right? So I come across as someone who is human, normal. I have my own flaws. So he doesn't think I am Spider-Man. So he kind of appreciates, okay, look, I will teach you now. Now, I will obviously have a certain humility. I respect his skills more. I don't see him as an HR director, but I see him as an amazing cook. So there is an equation or relationship that kind of gets strengthened. So it's fun.
Is it okay to fail before people who work under you? How will they look at workplace? Will that be any different after that?
Um, Generally, why generally? If I took my own leadership journey across 30 years, in my first 2 or 3 years, I was 27, 29, whatever at that age, I thought I had to be a superman
Yeah.
as a leader. In which
Yeah.
case, I need to know answers for all questions of my team, otherwise, they won't respect me.
You need to know the questions first.
Yeah, sometimes even that I don't know. But over a period of time, I realized there are more things I don't know than that I know.
Yeah.
So it's okay to fail because everyone is human. There's just no perfect human being. Or given the depth of domains around us, we just can't learn everything all the time. So it's okay. And the other person really respects us when we say, look, I don't know, can you please teach me? And they're only too eager.
I will really respect that when somebody tells me that. When
Yeah.
I'm doing something and I need some help, I wouldn't want to be that, as you said, the Superman, or else people are afraid to come near you and, even help you
Yes.
when you need it.
If I can add a point,
Yeah.
you should try this with children.
Mhm.
At 16 and 18, they're adults, they treat you as a friend. With 8 and 10-year-olds, they look up to an adult as, look, you're infallible, you can't make a mistake, you're perfect. And when you tell that kid, look, I don't know this, how do you do it? The kid just lights up
Yeah.
because they can teach an adult something.
I know.
Suddenly they find that the relationship with this adult, this adult doesn't know, so he's
Yeah.
not perfect. It's a wonderful thing to do to the child because it breaks down the myth that an adult is perfect.
I can relate to that. My handwriting till date is one of the worst. You can say the doctor's handwriting. Some people make fun of that. My daughter teaches me at times how to write an E, how to do the cursive writing and all that. And there are some slokas that she teaches me. I tell her it's okay to teach me. Then I think they also feel a little bit like Superman, Superwoman at that time.
That's one. I don't know. I don't remember how I thought when I was 5 years old. But I'm guessing an 8-year-old may think that I'm imperfect, but this person is perfect. So in other words, I'm not okay. You're okay. But the moment they see an adult being vulnerable, being, hey, look, I don't know, kind of a thing, I think the child starts understanding it's okay to be not okay. I can fail. I can make mistakes. I need not know everything. I think the childhood will be far more normal, healthy when they know the world around me is imperfect. So I always have the scope to fail and learn.
Wouldn't that bring in a culture of children bouncing back very fast from failures? And
Yes.
wouldn't that?
Yes.
So that kind of the winning attitude, or you say the habit of winning, or the culture of winning, we'll come back to workplace now.
Yep.
So how do you think these rituals in workplace will help the winning culture of an organization, if I may call that?
Absolutely. I'll give two examples. One is, if you take Apple as a company, of course, they're being cited for various best practices. They do an annual ritual. I'm calling it a ritual. For them, could be an event. The worldwide developers conference. So they get the best of developers. They showcase really cutting edge technology. Now, in that ritual, I'm calling it a ritual. The value could be innovation. Value could be inventing the future. And Apple as a company might want to take lead, saying that that's one of my DNA. So through that ritual, they drive home constantly. Of course, for that they need to measure up, which I guess they do. The value of innovation.
Yeah.
Now, if you adapt this to winning, I'll just cite one example. I'm sure each team has its own. The New Zealand rugby team does what's called a haka. It's just it's a kind of a choreographed 1 minute thing that they do on the field. It has a song and dance kind of stuff. Now there the value is winning. It's a very, you should watch it in the YouTube. I'm sure you can search it out.
I have. It's a very energizing video to look at.
So it's energetic. Sometimes it can be menacing.
Intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. Intimidating. It has a lot of drama.
Yeah.
So there, the value could be winning. And when they do it together as a team, I'm sure they find themselves in the zone of performance, right? It gets them into the mood of winning. It also instills fear into the opponent.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how a ritual is done at the start of a match to instill the spirit of winning.
Yeah.
One example, I'm sure there's a lot of examples around.
I can again relate to that. Whenever I go into play, when I play cricket a little bit. So when I play cricket, there is a specific song. The meaning might be very negative, but the song just pumps me up. I think next time I can make the opponents also hear that. Maybe make a dance and then go inside. But it pumps me up to score runs. And,
Interestingly, Michael Jordan is supposed to hear one song by the singer Anita Baker.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe before every match, just as he gets into the basketball court, he listens to his song and gets in. So I guess each one develops his or her own ritual.
That's right. So this is about workspace.
Yes.
We also said we were also talking about personal rituals.
Yeah.
Can you give me some examples of some very successful persons using some rituals in their life, like Michael Jordan, anybody else?
I guess we will find that in all fields, whether it's sports, business, etc. One thing that's still fresh in my mind is, Krishnamacharya Srikanth, the celebrated batsman. When I was in my school days, he was a star. He's still a star. So I used to watch him on TV. After every ball that he bats, he walks up to the square leg umpire and comes back. Now it's just a ritual. The walk up and down every ball, and he look up at the sun.
Oh,
now
what was that?
I think his mother. That's what I read. This is the internet, which shares the information. I believe his mother taught him about the sun god being, Pratyaksham is a Sanskrit word they use, the god that you can see. So he had a connection, I guess, with the sun, and that gave him being in the zone for every ball to play. So that's a very typical example.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, every day, I'm not a celebrity, I'm an ordinary person, but in my case, I have to do my 1.5 hours of meditation in the morning. If I don't do it, I just feel a gap.
Yeah.
So I've just got used to it across 30, 40 years, but it keeps me in the zone, ready for the day.
I know.
I'm sure you would have.
I have to do my Sandhya Vandanam in the morning before I get out of the house. That really gives me a very, that 10 minutes, 15 minutes is my time. And I prefer to do it in the morning or early morning so that there is no disturbance. Nobody calls you, nobody asks you for anything. And that actually puts you in the zone on a day-to-day basis, maybe like a meditation that you're doing.
Yeah.
That is one thing. And the second thing is physically I need to go for my walk. The day I don't go for my walk, I feel a little bit lethargic here and there. So that is actually one of the, I think I'm realizing that these are my rituals that I've been doing for some time now. So can a person have his or her personal rituals align with their set of goals, their values? Is it tangible? Is it in workplace? Yes. Personal?
I guess so. You used the word goal.
Yeah.
Right? Values, yes. Like I said, if my value is performance, that is in other words, in today's things, I need to be at the best. I need to be giving today the best that I can do. If that's the value, which is performance, and the meditation that I do every hour, every day, if it helps me get there, then the value is giving the best. The ritual is meditation. The goal could be whatever I achieve, whatever I decide I want to get done, gets done. So it's very much possible, going that way.
So you said meditation, yes. Other than that, can you give me some practical examples of any rituals that you use that are really impactful in your life?
Okay, this is a funny example, but it is it's very effective. So, my kids are grown up today, they're in university. When they were small, 8 and 10, getting into the bathroom for the bath in the morning and forgetting the towel was almost a daily happening.
Okay.
So,
Happens in our house all the time.
exactly. So, it's now I think it's a joy. When I look back, I reminisce about it. But in those times, every morning, Appa towel or Amma towel is a common thing.
Okay.
So we are trying to figure out, how do we fix it? How do you tell an 8-year-old, don't forget? So we did a funny thing, but we got hold of the 8-year-old and said, look, the towel is your best friend. Why? It keeps you warm. When you're wet, it helps you dry. When the temperature is cold, you can wrap around it. Without it, you're not clean. So we did that, and so we gave my daughter, she was 8, what's called a towel prayer.
Oh.
We just cooked up something.
Okay.
So we said every day before you take bath, you need to thank the towel, say the prayer, and then only have a bath. All right? It became a ritual. So she gets in, forgets the towel. The moment she starts reciting the towel prayer, she realizes the towel is missing. So she gets out, gets the towel in. This happened, and the whole towel business got sorted.
Oh.
Now, at 20, she still jokes saying that, look, you just took me for a ride with this so-called towel prayer. There's nothing called a towel prayer. But it got the job done. So, as funny as that, to, let's say, Krishnamacharya Srikant's ritual on performance, I think everything in between is possible with a ritual.
So, is this again a personal ritual or is this a ritual at home?
Which one?
How do you call it?
This would be a personal ritual for her.
Yeah.
Of course, I injected it, she didn't have a choice. But we did have a ritual at home. So when we moved to Africa, new country, new culture, children, new school, new home, we didn't know who the doctor was. There were a lot of pressures in the family in the initial 4-5 months for us to settle down. So we were fine, everybody was a little at the edge, new country, whatever. So we said, look, we have to do something that we all kind of gel together, we will remember it. So we made every alternate Sundays, we called it Ice Cream Sunday. An Ice Cream Sunday, the big, luxurious ice cream. We said every alternate Sunday, we will ensure we either eat ice cream at home or we'll get out. And over a period of time, we started, waiting for that Sunday. That was something to look forward to, and we started loosening up. So as a family, it started easing things at home. You start rejoicing, looking forward to something pleasant. So that worked for us. Just releasing the pressure at home in a new country, settling down. So Ice Cream Sunday.
So we were talking about rituals at home.
Yeah.
How do you think our rituals at home will affect our overall success and well-being?
So let me take well-being first. My definition of well-being is like I'm at peace with myself and the rest of the world. So I might have material goals to achieve, spiritual goals, emotional goals, whatever. When all of that is in sync with what I expect out of life, I'll be physically, mentally happy, well-being. Now that gets impacted by what happens at home. If I have expectations and it doesn't get met, could be physical things like food, could be emotional needs like connections, right? Okay. If it's not met, then it starts impacting my well-being.
Yes.
So if I'm very clear what I want out of it, I want connection, I want certain relationships to be great, then I target that with a ritual. I'll give you an example. So there was a time when my kids were small, that is 5 and 8, I used to travel a lot. So I used to spend close to 20 days a month traveling. So I never spent time with them.
Sure.
Right? So when I'm back from work, they're asleep. Before they wake up, I'm out.
Same thing.
So how do I ensure that I have a connection with my kids? So I still remember when my daughter was about 5, every night we used to have a ritual called Walk to Venus.
Walk to Venus.
So you can't walk to Venus,
Yeah.
right? So the ritual was we finished dinner and only my daughter and I, she's a 5-year-old, I'm here, pin drop silence. We lived in a gated community, so there's no traffic.
Mhm.
But when we step out of the house, at the end of the road, right across the sky, we could see Venus on a clear night.
Hmm.
Now, from our house to the gate of the gated community, it was about 500 meters.
Okay.
So every day at around between 8 to 9, we will take a walk from our house gate till the gate of the gated community. And that was called the Walk to Venus. Why? We will go there, watch Venus, and then come back home. 15 minutes maybe. But in that 15 minutes, as a 5-year-old, she will dump everything that happened in school. Who she fought with, what she liked, why the food was not good or good. So that 15 minutes was connection.
Yeah.
So while I did travel a lot, on a normal day couldn't spend time with them, both of us ensured, I and my daughter, that in that 15 minutes, single-minded, no distraction, repeatable every day, there was one essence which is connection. So imagine you can do it to your kids, to your spouse, to your parents, anything. So if we don't need to complicate it. If you keep it simple, you could actually identify opportunities where you could, improve your well-being altogether.
You really are a salesperson. You know that, right?
Why is that?
You can make an ordinary walk on a pavement
Oh yes.
into a walk to the Venus. Huh?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I can really relate to
Let me
that.
add, can I interrupt?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you should.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Please, feel free to.
I can call it, let's take a walk.
Yeah.
But what is special about it? There's nothing special about it. The moment you give it a name, right?
Yeah.
It becomes larger than life. I was saying one of the elements of ritual is a certain amount of drama.
Yeah.
Because you remember drama. You take your daughter's birthday schedule today.
Yeah.
The dressing up, there is some drama in it.
Yeah.
Right? So she loves it. So if you don't have drama in a positive way, the ritual doesn't connect. So rather than a walk to Venus just adds that bit. So it helps.
I can relate to that. I don't get much time with my children, so I make it a point that I drop them to school in the morning, either by auto or by car or by two-wheeler. So that time when we travel together, that half an hour time, we speak, we recite some shlokas, we learn from each other, and then while we are traveling, we see a series of these animals being painted. We by heart those animals. We have a small game who says it right in the same order, and faster too.
Yeah.
So that person wins that day, and most of the times I lose. Sometimes deliberately, sometimes I just lose. And they don't know that, but sometimes I lose by myself. So that's a pretty good ritual for us in the morning.
I'll just add a couple of perspectives to this. It's a fantastic example of a ritual, right? 20 years later, ask your daughter, what does she remember of that time? Most likely, she might say this. The interesting thing is, the same car dropping in the morning can just become a habit. But you have brilliantly made it a ritual because you have brought single-mindedness, that is our time together. What could it be? You just drive, you listen to music, the kid is there looking out the window, there's no connection, there is no drama, there's no purpose. No, but you have made it a purposeless connection. So that's a fantastic example. So you asked me the first question, or very early in this conversation, what's the difference between a habit and a ritual?
Yeah.
There is a great example. That driving in the morning could be a habit, or you could raise it to a gold standard, make it a ritual, and transform your relationship. So that's the power of a ritual.
I also want to ask you whether your daughter remembers your walk to the Venus, but before that, I very vividly remember my father dropping me to school every day morning. I used to get a lot of scoldings whenever I didn't wake up in time. Most of the times it was because I did not wake up in time, so that he started dropping me. But the time we spent together, if you ask me what is the most vivid, most clear memory you have with your father, luckily my father is still with me. The best memory I have with him is that he has dropped me to every single school I've been to. I've been to 5 different schools, and whenever we changed homes, we changed schools also. Every single school, he has always dropped me, and that I think is the one of the strongest
Yeah, yeah.
memories that I have. So, does your daughter remember the walk to Venus?
She does. She does. Interesting point is sometimes what for me could be just a normal habit, for the child could be a ritual from their perspective. So that's when sometimes they give it a larger than life importance to that particular act.
Could be.
So it's also interesting to look at a certain act either from our lens or from the other person's lens. The view could be very different.
Very different, yeah, I can understand that. So, can you give me some other simple but very effective home rituals that families can adopt to strengthen their bonds, to have a good, supportive environment? Give me some examples.
Like I said, in our case, the whole ice cream Sunday was good. I know in some cases where the Sunday meal is whatever, I take only salads during the week, but that Sunday meal is a grand meal when everybody pitches in. The other thing that we have successfully, I love that is once a month, I and my daughter cook. So my wife takes a break, I and my daughter cook. For us, that's a big thing to doing that together. It's again a ritual. In today's world where everybody is in their own small world, pretty tied up, busy, I still feel these small rituals can keep relationships, connections mightily intact, whether at work or at home. At work, you have targets, you have the daily, treadmill running.
Yes.
That's why a lot of times companies have multiple rituals just to drive home their whatever values, whatever they wish to inculcate in the team members. So at home, these are some of the examples, as I said.
Companies have rituals?
Absolutely.
The whole company, big company, corporate company can have.
Yeah, for example, many years back, I had the opportunity to visit McLaren's UK office. That's a headquarters, right? The McLaren racing team. I heard in one of their presentations is that, so I was thinking that when a McLaren racing team wins a Grand Prix, let's say in Malaysia, the whole of UK just throws a party, whatever. But they said, look,
don't they?
No. So interestingly, they said whenever the racing team wins anywhere, the global headquarters in UK, every employee in that company wears a cap. I think it was a red color cap. I may be wrong, but imagine every employee that day wears a red cap. That's it.
Sense of pride.
Absolutely. So one, sense of pride. Two, it's marking that occasion. One more red cap day. Three, the headquarters is in a place. The winning team is in another place. But they all support each other. That's how a team wins. So even remotely, feeling a connection to that win. Right? The team that wins in Kuala Lumpur will have that feeling. But how does the global headquarters feel the same, joy? They wear the red cap. So it's symbolic. It's predictable, every win. The value is togetherness. We are one team. And what is the drama? It's a red cap, everybody. So companies very successfully inculcate these values.
Amazing. I have talked to you about personal rituals, home rituals at home, then with companies. The personal relationship between two is very important. I have some specific rituals with my wife. Do you care to share something do you have something with your spouse that is a ritual that can really strengthen the bond? Because sometimes I relate how I react to situations at home with my people in my enterprise also. For example, the people who I hire usually as doctors usually are my students. So my students are in a way my children also. So what how I treat my children, I treat my students the same way. So, is there any connectivity? Do you have any? Can you cite me some example with your personal life?
I can think of one. It was an accident. So when we moved abroad about 15 years back, obviously the work pressures. I was in a new country. Home was settling down. Like I said in my Africa example. So we had to take both kids to a Sunday music class or Saturday music class. So we dropped them there, and we didn't know what to do. It was just 1 hour, so we had to wait somewhere. So we went to a nearby cafe. We just had coffee. But that 1 hour of coffee, nothing to do. We were generally talking stuff which otherwise we may not talk. At home, there is grocery, vegetable, TV, blah blah. So this 1 hour we realized was just exclusive.
Yeah.
It happened to be a Saturday. So we said, why didn't we do it again? And we did it again because every Saturday was a class.
Yeah.
So we accidentally discovered that every Saturday we had 1 hour to spend over coffee. So I said, you need drama to create a ritual. So we called it what's called a Saturday. Okay. So, but after that, the kids started going on their own to their class. But we still maintained the Saturday. So even now, so that's about 15 years.
Wow.
Every Saturday, my wife and I, we get out anywhere between 4 to 6 p.m. Whether there are kids at home, visitors, no visitors, parents, we just say those 2 hours is for us. So let's get out.
I was going
still
to get
follow
there.
that.
I was going to get there. What I was getting to was the challenges in implementing that. When you do this for example, with your kids, sometimes you get away with it when you don't do the ritual. See, one day I don't drop my kids, I can ask my mother-in-law or my father to drop. You get away with that. With the people you work, the peers, sometimes yes, you get away with that. With your wife, you should be very cautious. So, what are these key factors that we have to consider in implementing these rituals, whether at work, at home, or in a personal space? What will be the implementation challenges?
This is a great question because this can completely derail a ritual. So one thing is, what do you want to achieve? So I need to be clear, what do I want to get out of this ritual? Otherwise, you just don't do anything. So that's one. So in the Saturday, I told you, what I wanted to get was connection. On a normal busy day, everybody is busy. I don't get to spend time. Here, it's only you and me. So that's one. Two, the other person should be wanting to achieve the same.
Yeah.
Right? So in this case, my wife said, why not? Right? So if the other person doesn't want it, then you may want a ritual, but it doesn't trigger well. Okay? The third thing is no distractions. As I said, at least my understanding of ritual is there is single-mindedness.
Yeah.
I can't tell my wife, let's go for a coffee, and she's on her mobile phone texting, I'm taking calls. We need not have coffee outside. We could do the job at home.
Yeah.
So single-mindedness. Fourth is persistence. For example, I don't usually take any appointments on a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
In other words, I keep it aside because I treat this ritual as important, as holy. If I don't treat it, it will start falling down.
It will start falling down. I know.
Right?
I know.
Persistence. And lastly, you need to enjoy it. It can't be forced. All right? So as long as you have these 5, I think you should be getting that.
I have a challenge in that. In my clinic, you know how I work. You work with me very closely. So in my clinic, when I want to establish some rituals, I have these implementation issues. Whenever a patient turns up in a wrong time, when there is no wrong time for a patient to turn up, it's the right time for them to turn up. But our clinic time is over. That is not a day when we are working. Maybe we are doing some of the work in the clinic. And, what we do is sometimes we set aside this rituals that we have, and then we go to work. And what happens is the whole team's morale. They were expecting this ritual to happen. It didn't happen that day.
Yeah.
So the next time when you want to do it, they are not very sure. So this is as a personal advice. Maybe you can take this as a personal advice for me. So how do you think I can have my teammates also enjoy the ritual? Should I ask them, what do you like? or should I keep trying new things? How do I go about it?
Uh, in a way, at work, co-creating a ritual sometimes works.
Co-creating.
I'm choosing the words carefully. One is co-creating. Two, sometimes works. Because let's say, as an entrepreneur, the head of the business or a CEO, now he or she may want to drive certain values. The rest of the team might feel, look, this is not important.
Yeah.
Their co-creation is not possible. The CEO has to, or the leader has to explain why we need this, and let's give it a try. In some cases where there is a common need felt, for example, in your case, your team also feels, look, this is something that's missing, and you also feel there's something missing. Their co-creation can happen because they also feel I have a stake in it.
Yeah.
I've inputted into it. So it depends on the situation. One situation where, as a leader, you have the maturity to see beyond, and hence certain things has to be driven top down, but explaining to the team why it's important and let's give it a shot. The second thing where jointly co-create. Both are possible. It depends on what the situation is.
Yeah. And so, as you said, when they have a stake in the ritual,
Yeah,
then they are more interested in it, and
absolutely.
they have decided a part of what is happening, and it could be a movie, it could be a lunch, it could be like something you created with your team. Just go out and have a cooking day every
True.
yearly once. So maybe we'll co-create something. But when we are trying to now again, I'm thinking when I'm trying to create something new, new challenge, a new ritual. Why I say challenges. Last time, the last question was when I'm trying to implement it. There is a challenge in implementing.
Yeah.
With my with my children, no, because I have to drop them to school. With my wife, yes, once or twice when I dropped the ball, the ritual became a little bit. We both lost interest. Then we had to create something new. So, but with the people who work for me or with the people whom I work with, when I say something, okay, the guy is telling this because he's the boss, so they'll have to do it. So sometimes this co-creation, I think, will definitely help because they will also have a stake. But when it is a new ritual, establishing the new ritual, how do we again overcome these challenges? A ritual that we know, yes, I know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm not going there in time. Maybe. What will be the challenges when you're doing it as a new ritual?
I'll answer it in two parts. The first one is everybody who's involved in the ritual has to be pretty clear about what's in it for me. The moment they're not clear about it, they will not follow. So let's take the case wherein the business leader, in your case, feels this ritual we need to do it. It's not co-created, it's your dream. If the team understands what's in it for me, most likely they will start coming in. And when they taste the results, they'll really light it up. Okay? In the second case where you co-create, again, when everyone is clear what's in it for me, they'll come in. So in both these cases, the key aspect is everybody clear what's in it for me. So that's one. The second piece is when you're creating from the scratch, there needs to be a certain structure. Now, I don't want to complicate it, but still, imagine I'm creating it. I need to be clear what is this ritual? Who is the target? That is, which group of people or which individual will benefit? Who will lead it? When will this happen? Right? How will this happen? You know the drama and the steps and the sequence.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how do I sustain it? Okay? And most important, what's the purpose? What's the essence? So if you can list this down, then you will get a picture and a structure. Then we start engaging and driving home the point, what's in it for me? Most likely, it will succeed. But like anything else, I think a certain number of persistence always helps.
Yeah. So you say when we do this what, when, and how, and who, and all this, sometimes you'll have to maybe once or twice try, and the trial and error will definitely be there.
Yes.
So you also say that consistency will play a big effectiveness in the role. Will it have a good effectiveness in the role?
Very true. I think all habits are formed over a period of time. So maybe the ritual will also become a habit. I don't know. So yeah, consistency matters a lot. You're right.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think I'm slowly running out of questions. This is We talked about how a new ritual is created.
Yeah.
Why is it important at home, at workplace, in personal life? So I give this next 1 or 2 minutes to you to talk anything about these rituals without any questions. You want to say something? You can, as a concluding note. Yes, you can.
This is a very dear topic to me, rituals per se, because I've practiced. I was a beneficiary of others' rituals. I enjoyed it, so it can clearly drive home or embed. I'll use the word embed values, habits. Maybe habits is not the right word. So I'll say values and behavior change. Whatever values we want to live, all of us, whatever behavior change we want to bring into our lives, work or home, I think rituals is a fantastic tool to take. The key thing for its success is it enjoyable?
Is it enjoyable?
Yeah.
But one thing I'm again getting now. Can I ask you one more question? I said it's a concluding remark. Is it okay to ask you one more? So there will be some business persons who are hardcore business people who think sitting in your shop or in your enterprise continuously and doing the grind every day is what works with business. Giving up one day of a month or maybe 1 or 2 days in a year, they will be losing maybe thousands. Some people will be losing lakhs in a day. So, what do you think the CEO or the CFO, for that matter of fact, wouldn't they be thinking, why should I lose this 1 or 2 days every month or every year? Why should I lose that revenue? Why is it so important to lose that revenue and do this?
So if I'm to use an analogy, what's recharging time for an electric car, or what is sleep to a human being? What's the time that an aircraft undergoes that quick turnaround maintenance for its successful flying? Is exactly what it is, that one day for that business.
So the off time.
The 29 days functioning well, sanely, depends on that one day. And if it's just one day a year, even more better. Yes, you are more efficient. Yeah, but that's what comes to my mind.
Amazing, amazing.
Interestingly, you may not find the impact because it's happening sometimes, but you will surely find the impact if it's not happening.
So once you start doing, and then if you don't do it,
it becomes embedded in your life. The day you stop it, don't sleep for, let's say, 3 days. Then we'll appreciate that one night sleep. Rituals sometimes are also like that. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
You really appreciate it when you miss it.
Superb. So thank you, Dayanand, for being here today. It was a great conversation we had about this rituals and, as I said, at home, personal life, and in the work front. It was a very engaging conversation. I'm sure that you also enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely. As I said, it's very dear to me. So delighted to be here. And once again, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you.